right behind him to push. Seifker is clear. No, he's not. Here comes Rondoletto to the outside. Johnson's going to have the momentum off the bottom in turn 4, but will the run come down the front straightaway? Seifker to the outside. Rondoletto to the inside. We're going to be 3 wide at the line. Give it to Nate Seifker. No, give it to Rondoletto. Octavio Rondoletto wins the race. It's Rondoletto by 1/1000th of a second. After a disastrous DNF on lap number 13 last week at Auto Club, it is redemption for Michael the Turk as he takes his first win of the season, career win number 5 of the RIL Daredevil Series. It'll be Octavio Rondoletto in second position.
He's going to pull back down, trying to get a run down the backstretch. He pulls out. Let's say Shire's going to go below the line, trying to make a move, made a little contact. He's going to force the issue. Miranda's into the wall. Westside Shire's taking the lead. With James Watson right next to him, it's going to be Westside Shire winning the race, the 3rd round here of the RIL Daredevil Series at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
And I think Shire has been disqualified. I think James Watson is the race winner. Coming around out of turn number 4, officially his first career RIL Daredevil Series victory. It's Gavin Sanders with the win in Richmond.
And we saw Rondoletto got really loose there into 3 and then out of 4. And I think Watson ended up getting around him.
No challenge from Rondoletto. 2 weeks in a row. Gavin Sanders is a winner with the RIL Daredevil Series back-to-back. Short trying to pick his spot here. Some defense there. Through the tunnel turn. Bensey now going to have a peek back to the inside of Short for second. Hill with control. Here goes Bensey through to second. But out of turn number 3, no momentum for Caleb Bensey. It's going to be Christopher Hill to the line to win it. It's these 4, Sanders, Rondoletto, Miranda, and Isidro. 2 championship contenders, 2 drivers looking for their first win. Sanders starts the snake. Rondoletto sends it to the middle. Sanders up to defend, leaves the bottom open. Rondoletto's going to have the run. They make contact, blocking from Sanders to the line. Give it to Gavin Sanders. Gavin Sanders wins it at Gateway. 42/1000ths of a second. Gavin Sanders' career win number 3. And as he rounds turn 11, there goes the tires. And Michael the Turk, career victory number 6 in the RIL Daredevil Series.
Whoa,
and he is in the
wall.
wall.
It in the wall. He stuffs it in the wall.
The time is upon us once again. After 8 incredible races with 5 different drivers visiting victory lane, only 3 drivers have a shot at glory here tonight. As the final round of Season 2 for the RIL Daredevil Series will see the coronation of a new champion driver. There is no better place to crown a champion than right here at the Mecca of Motorsports, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, for the final 60 laps of Season number 2. Who will take home the hardware tonight? James Watson, Gavin Sanders, or Octavio Rondoletto? And can either of them come away with the title and the race win? Or will someone else be taking a milk bath here tonight on Turn 200? We know the championship players, but let's get the recurring characters back in front of you as here hamming it up in booth 200 for the final time with the Daredevils this season. My name is Tommy Cook. We've got Mr. Matt Williamson, Tron 3000. Buddy, can you believe it? It's Championship Wednesday yet again here on Turn 200.
Man, it seems like we just started Season 2 a couple of weeks ago, but here we are, the 9th race and the final one of the season, ready to crown a new champion, and there's 3 drivers in the hunt. This is going to be something special.
And let's take a look at those Championship 3 and what each of them need to do to stitch up the title here tonight.
Each of our Championship 3 have race victories this season, with Rondoletto and Watson each notching 1, while Sanders has 3.
What's super interesting about Gavin Sanders' championship effort this season is that he actually missed the first 3 races of the season. In these last 5 races, Sanders has only finished off the podium a single time. So he has had to dramatically outperform the ultra-consistent James Watson and the incredibly impressive Octavio Rondoletto to even be in the mix here at the end of it. In terms of clinching, the toughest path to the title undoubtedly belongs to James Watson. Watson really needs to come away with the win here tonight, which he is more than capable of doing. If he were to do that, Rondoletto can finish no higher than 7th, and Sanders would need to finish 3rd or worse. If Watson were to win with Rondoletto finishing 7th or worse, and Gavin Sanders were to finish 2nd, then Watson and Sanders would be tied, and I have no idea how the hell they break ties here. For Sanders, he needs to finish ahead of Watson by at least 2 spots no matter what, and obviously ahead of Rondoletto as well. A Sanders win would ice Watson, but he would need Rondoletto to finish worse than 5th. A 4th place finish or better for Rondoletto means that the Daredevil Championship would be heading to Juncos Esports in their first full season, with Rondoletto here in the RIL Daredevil Series. Now, further down the points order, things to keep an eye on. These drivers who don't have a shot at the title still want to finish top 10 or top 5 in the points. From Nicholas Johnston in 4th all the way down to Zachary Flaum in 15th. These drivers still have a lot on the line here tonight as far as their season points finish goes.
There are only 2 tracks from the Season 1 schedule that made a reappearance here in Season 2. The first one was Pocono, which was one of the best races of the season both times. Another great race last season happened right here in Indy, but it's not exactly the same as we left it in Season 1, is it?
No, it's not, but let's take a look at some of the action from last season here. We saw a lot of aggressive racing up front in what ended up being the second biggest field of the season. Aggressive racing also meant that we saw a lot of crazy crashing. And to top it all off, we even got a 3-wide photo finish where eventual champion Dakota DeMade came away with his first victory of the season. Now, what has changed from last season to this season? Well, just a few weeks ago, the most recent scan of the track was added to iRacing. The previous scan of the track took place in 2009, while this was just taken this year. Although the biggest changes are really found around the road course, the oval asphalt is much newer and grippier. And you know the drivers aren't going to complain about more grip, especially at speeds approaching 200 miles per hour, going wheel to wheel for 60 laps here tonight.
Yeah, certainly no complaints there. Where there were a lot of complaints, I believe, were at Long Beach last week. There was too much wheel-to-wheel racing, not quite at 200 miles an hour. But as a result, here is the full list of everybody that qualified for the Jacksonville Speedway Zero-Zero Challenge after round number 8. It's up on the screen right now. You're looking at it. Now you're confused because there's nothing up on the screen.
Tommy, I don't see anything.
Yeah, that's because nobody qualified. Not a single person finished with a 0X after Long Beach last week. Nobody. So the pot still sits at $29 heading into tonight, but somebody will be walking away from Indianapolis with at least this much here tonight and probably more. We will be drawing for the 0-0 pot at the end of the stream here tonight, right after we figure out how many additional people are going to join in on the fun after 60 laps here tonight. Our final Turn 200 driver to watch switched up his livery for tonight, and he's looking to be the first driver to win back-to-back races at the same track. It's the demigod, Dakota DeMade, and he's around the turn on Turn 200.
A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon heap, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The Dungeon Labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
across the line. Dakota DeMay gets it. And after a word from our sponsors, we are back with tonight's Turn 200 driver to watch the driver who will be abdicating his throne as the reigning champion here tonight. The demigod himself, Dakota DeMay. It has been way too long since you've been in booth 200, my friend. Welcome back. How are you doing?
It has. It's been too long. It's been a rough season. I think I've said it before. I think I've gone from champ to chump this season. I haven't been able to get a podium yet. Just a whole lot of bad luck. Some of it's my fault. Some of it is just, some of it just happens. But I'm hoping to turn around tonight. I got a special paint scheme, so hoping that brings some good luck, and hopefully I can bring it back up there.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Is I think you've been more unlucky than anything this season, but that's bound to happen to every driver from time to time. But it's safe to say, with that great-looking livery, that you've been looking forward to getting back to Indy for a while.
Yeah, hometown track, so I always want to do well here. Yeah, anything that's not a win is not good enough, so I'm here to win.
There you go, Matt.
Yeah, Dakota, as the reigning champion here, you've been in a situation sort of similar to Sanders and Watson before. If you put yourself in their shoes here tonight, tell me what you think you would need to do to pull the championship off here in the final race of the season.
I would focus on getting up front as quickly as you can and just trying to hold the lead there. I know this isn't quite going to be as packy as last season, I think, just because the high line doesn't have as much grip. So I think track position is going to be a little bit more important, and it's hard to say if there's going to be any big wrecks or not, but I don't think so. We were fairly clean last season, so you're not going to win if you just sit in the back. I'll tell you that.
That much we can agree on there.
And with them being 400, 600 points back, they're going to need a podium at least here. So. Get up front, stay up front.
Well, there you go. Looking to be the first Daredevil to win back-to-back races at the same track. Oh my gosh, there is a massive crash on the front straightaway. Holy cow. Sorry. Looking to be the first Daredevil to go back-to-back at the same track. And you had the virtual crowd up on their feet in the closing laps of the Indy Strength of Field race on Monday night. And,
yeah, that was a heartbreaker.
Dude,
yeah, I just needed another caution just to be able to make that happen, and it never did. So it was unfortunate because all the other splits had at least 4 cautions, and then just happens to be that top split only had 1 caution. So it was a gamble, and it just didn't pay off. But I wasn't going to win any other way, so.
Well, there you go. You got a chance at redemption here tonight. Thanks, as always, for the time, Dakota, and we hope to talk to you again after the race.
Yeah, of course. I hope to be there.
All righty, there's our Turn 200 driver to watch here tonight. The demigod, Dakota DeMay, the reigning champion, for one more race, and we'll give him all the shine that we possibly can in that stretch of time here. So, a couple of things to note in the closing minutes of practice here. We mentioned in the pre-race show, we don't know what the tie break is. We can tell you now that Christopher Kresge has informed us that the tie break is wins. So no matter who the tie is between, the tie break will go to Gavin Sanders. He has 3 wins. The other 2 drivers have 1, so they obviously in one race cannot catch up to the number 3. And that is the extent of my math there. Was it impressive?
Yeah, I mean, I don't... The tie I think that would possibly happen would be most likely between Sanders and Watson, if there were to be a tie, just because they are, a pretty exact number where our points are kind of structured apart from each other. Rondoletto is going to have kind of a bad race for him tonight to not wrap this championship up. As you just heard DeMade say, he doesn't think there's going to be any big wrecks or big accidents, but we weren't sure there were going to be any at Long Beach either, and the first turn got a lot of the drivers. We'll just say that.
And one more thing here with 1 minute to go left in practice before we go to qualifying. Since this is a return trip, we do have a little bit of prior data to go off of, although this is the new scan of Indianapolis. That is the first time the Daredevils will be on this. But from round number 6 last season, the track record in qualifying was set by James Watson of 47.657. And the fastest lap in the session overall was turned by Bless Lopez of 46.787. I can tell you the top 6 drivers in practice right now are all past that track record set by Bless Lopez. Not sure if it's in practice, if it's official or not, but James Watson right now has the quick time in practice with a 46.519, which is 2/10 up on the record set by Lopez last season in the race. So Watson, the fastest of our 21 drivers in the session right now. Michael DeTurk, DL Lemon, Cody Claiborne, Charles Grove, and Matthew Johnson are the other drivers that are underneath of the track record right now. As practice gets ready to wrap up here, we'll have to see what the pole speed is going to be and if James Watson, in a must-win situation, can go back-to-back on poles at Indianapolis.
And we are going to switch over to our qualifying session here in just a second as you see our tower ticker change from practice to qualifying. We're going to see who's out here on track immediately to start this thing.
Dakota DeMay, James Watson, both rolling onto the track. Octavio Rondoletto, the man that's chasing, is not rolling onto the track yet.
Sanders is out here already. He was one of the first to go.
The Lemon also out onto the track. Zachary Flaum. Wesley Shire at the end of pit road doing some fuel burn. Here comes Octavio Rondoletto out onto the track now as Christopher Kresge, Daryl Weininger, and Christian Jasper, Austin Lafferty, Michael DeTurk, all out onto the track here to post a time.
And you see
Hugo Glass and Charles Grove have elected not to qualify. Go ahead.
I'm just going to say, you see what you pretty much expect. We're here watching James Watson, who needs pretty much needs a win here tonight, you would think. Not necessarily mathematically needs one, but, that's what you're shooting for if you're in his position for sure. He's going to be railing the inside line as down, as close to the grass as he can possibly get. Track position and qualifying is going to be very important here tonight. So these guys are looking to put in really good qualifying laps, and if they don't, they're going to be very disappointed.
It is certainly going to be a crucial start to the night here to get yourself a good spot on the starting grid. I'm not sure if I agree 100% with Dakota DeMay. I hate to disagree with him because he is the king of Indianapolis, and he's also 10 times the driver that I will ever be. But I think we are due for some exciting action and some big crashes here as some times start to get posted up onto the board. It may get a little strung out if we have a long green flag run, but I think we're going to be hard-pressed to get to that point. But we will see. James Watson right now provisionally on pole, 47.392. As times continue to roll in, it's actually now Daryl Weininger with a 47.388. So we are well below the track record here in Daredevil competition.
Yeah, and we mentioned the new track scan. The track scan is just a lot quicker than it was with that 2009 scan. A lot more grip, especially on that bottom side, as DeMay alluded to. So we're going to see some pretty quick laps here.
I believe lap number 1 for DeMay was the quicker of the two. But right now he sits in P3. Watson's still in P2. Daryl Weininger, how about that? Coming off of a career best finish last week at Long Beach. It was a P5 in what would be his third start here tonight. And sitting pretty.
And what's interesting here is we've seen a lot of the second laps are not as quick as the first. I don't know if anybody had a quicker lap their second lap around.
No, I'm not seeing it. Crusher Lusher is out on the track. He's looking to put up a time here on his first go-around. He goes to 11th fastest.
Siefker also out on the track, coming to the line as we speak. He's usually pretty quick. He's going to go to 8th, and as you can tell on the timing board, the lap times are very, very close together. There are very minute differences that are going to make up whether you're starting in 12th or you're starting in the top spot.
Wesley Shire may have been trying to nurse his tires a little bit on lap 1 to maybe get something out of him on lap 2. Either that or he had a problem. He put up a 53-second lap. And so he is the slowest of those who have taken the time thus far. Drew White goes to 15th quickest on his first lap. Wesley Shire here, I believe, is coming through the North Chute right now. So we will see if he can go quicker on lap number 2. Be one of the only ones to do so.
And he's to the line, and it is
12th quickest. So
all
of
the
course
way
he goes
up to 12th.
Of course he goes quicker than 53 seconds, but he also goes faster than some of the other drivers here. So up to 12th. And is anybody on track? I believe Neil Lusher has just taken the checkered flag.
Yeah, Drew White just took his as well. White did not gain any positions. He was also leapfrogged by Shire, so he's going to be starting 16th.
Well, there you go. The starting grid for the season finale is set here for season number 2 for the RIL Daredevils here at Indianapolis. It's presented by CJaz Endeavors. On the pole, first career pole, third career start for Daryl Weininger after a 5th place finish last week at Long Beach. He is sitting pretty. The man who needs a win here tonight, he's third in the points with a shot, but an outside one at that. It's Fairfield, California's James Watson starting in P2. On the inside of row number 2, your reigning Daredevil Series champion and the defending Indianapolis winner, it's Dakota DeMade. Starting his outside, it's the Long Beach winner from last week, Michael DeTurk. Your championship leader starts in P5 here tonight out of Argentina. That is Octavio Rondoletto for Hukos Esports. Making his third career start to his outside. First time we've seen him since Charlotte, it is Austin Lafferty. He's finished 19th in both of his career appearances thus far. Gavin Sanders, P2 in the championship here tonight. He will start in P7 with some work to do. He'll have Nate Siefker to his outside. On row number 5 on the inside, a 4th place finisher a couple of weeks ago at Gateway. That is Nicholas Acitro. And starting to his outside, rounding out the top 10, is a home racer, one of many here tonight. It is Zachary Clown, the Indianan. On row number 6 on the inside, it is the title sponsor of this race, Christian Jasper. And Wesley Shire is back on the grid here tonight after missing his very first Daredevil career start last week. And row number 7 on the inside, it is Neil Lusher. He'll have DL Lemon to his outside. The proprietor, Christopher Kresge, on the inside of row number 8. The winner of the inaugural race is Drew White. He starts in P16. Cody Claiborne, Bruno Miranda, 17th and 18th. And it is Hugo Galaz and Matthew Johnson, 19th and 20th. Charles Grove, who was quick in practice, starts all the way at the back of the field here for career start number 4 for him, and he starts in 21st. Alrighty, buddy. It's the final race of the season. We're going to be keeping our eyes on our Championship 3 and keeping the calculators fired up here tonight. But what are we going to be looking for as this race rolls along here tonight?
Well, it's go time here, the final race of the season. 3 drivers eligible for our championship, and we are going to have 60 laps here tonight, or a 55-minute time limit if we need it. Our fuel window is going to be roughly around 20 laps, give or take a lap or 2 as always for our broadcaster math. There is an 18x limit with a 10x warning, which is a pass-through penalty. There are no fast repairs and no lucky dogs. As always here in the Daredevil Series, our track temperature is absolutely blazing. Do you want to take a guess at what our track temperature is?
I don't think I do. I just kind of want you to tell me. I can't even imagine.
It's 125 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's going to be a slick mother for our Daredevils here tonight. It's going to be an exciting one.
Oh, man. Wow, that is hot. But I tell you what, it's not going to be as hot as the action we're about to see here on the track. We've had 8 rounds. 5 different winners. We have 3 drivers going for the championship. It's Watson starting in 2nd, trying to chase down Gavin Sanders, who's starting in 7th, and Octavio Rondoletto, who starts P5. Round number 9 at Indianapolis. For the Daredevils, it is time to push limits and bust rivets here at the Mecca of Motorsports. The pace car is off, and for the final time in Season 2, the Daredevils are on the move. Watson to the outside of Weininger. He comes down from the middle to the bottom to clear him for the race lead.
Watson's doing exactly what DeMade said, that he would have to get out front early. A good qualifying spot. He's taken the lead in lap number 1. He's going to be looking to keep it here.
And if you're looking for DeMade in that usual orange, blue, and black livery, that is not what he is sporting here tonight. He is in P4. He's got Michael DeTurk to his outside. He's sporting a Tom Sneva white and blue livery there. Decided to mix it up as Darrell Weininger actually takes the lead back from James Watson as they come across the line that time.
And as we go along here on this green flag run, I am interested to see what happens as far as the racing style goes, because we've seen with these cars previously that once the run kind of continues, it can get more pack style than in the beginning because we're kind of spread out right now. But I'm interested to see once we start getting some tire wear and different things start happening, if the field tightens up just a little bit.
And if you remember at Pocono, it did take a couple laps for the pack to form up when it did form up, as we are going 3 wide for 2nd. DeMade to the inside of Watson and makes a sandwich out of him with Michael DeTurk to his outside. On that lap, crucially, Gavin Sanders passed Octavio Rondoletto on the outside. They ride in 5th and 6th now, as Weininger leads DeTurk, DeMade, and Watson in the top 4 spots.
Yeah, also crucially, Watson has fallen back to 4th. So our championship 3, we're 4th, 5th, and 6th coming across the line. Octavio Rondoletto is dropping here.
Yeah, he is rolling out of it now. He did this at Pocono. He was running up front, and if you recall, that did not work for him. He finished back at 14th after getting involved in an accident deep in the field. So Rondoletto, not sure if he's having a handling issue or just wants to roll out of the pack, but nevertheless, he is trying to stay out of it as we are going 3 wide for the top spot again. The Turk in the middle of DeMade on the bottom and Weininger on the top. Now, not knowing Darrell Weininger, much about him anyway, or his background, we don't know if any of these guys have really raced with Darrell Weininger. He's been in the mid-pack for our previous 2 races, and now he finds himself out front. More than handy at turning laps here at Indianapolis, but it may be some intense moments up here as these drivers try and feel Darrell Weininger out.
And as we were going 3 wide for the front, we were watching Rondoletto. He just pulled to the inside of the track coming down the front stretch when they were going 3 wide into turn number 1. He dropped way back. He finds himself in 17th now.
Oh my goodness.
So it's obvious what his strategy is. Either he's having a big problem with his setup, maybe a wheel or a pedal's messed up, or his strategy is clear and he wants to be in the back there with his teammate. Mind you, Miranda is running right behind him, and wait for some action to happen here.
So as they run here on lap number 5, coming to lap number 6, James Watson would be your champion right now. He's 3 spots ahead of Gavin Sanders, which would put him, I believe, 50 points ahead or 100 points ahead. Either way, he would be ahead of him. As Christian Jasper's got a huge head of steam here. Michael DeTurk leads across the line. Watson was in 2nd, but Jasper from 3rd to 1st there. He blasts past both of them.
Yeah, and Jasper is usually really good on these ovals. Always really great at Pocono. Had some bad luck earlier this season in a couple of the oval races. He was up front at Indy for a while last season as well, but he is looking to maybe have a little redemption from the race last season.
Yeah, not only was he up front at Indy, but crucially only lost that race by 24 one-thousandths of a second. Not very much. As here comes, I believe, Kirk again to the outside. He will lead him across the line. And this is definitely packy. I don't know if this is what Dakota DeMade was for.
Yeah, certainly packy. I mean, we've seen 3 wide, not only at the front, but throughout the field. As look who's coming up the leaderboard. Drew White has gained 6 spots. He's into the top 10 now.
Drew White knows how to maneuver on these big, fast tracks. He has not posted the results that we were expecting him to this season, so it'd be great to see him finish off a race with a great result here tonight, finish off the season on a high note. We are still battling side by side for the race lead up front. Nate Siefker now goes to the top spot. This is why I like these pack races. It's just a revolving door of drivers all night long. We get to talk about different people all throughout the race. Nate Siefker missed last week, but is back here tonight. After he was running up front at Gateway, had some problems, and now he may have some more problems. He's electing to really roll out of it down the back straightaway here.
Yeah, and we've talked about a lot of different drivers up front. Daryl Weininger was one of them. He's back to 9th now, so actually 10th. So as you were saying, a little bit of a revolving door as some drivers who were leading the race at one point are finding themselves in jeopardy of going outside of the top 10 as we're 3 wide across the line.
I tell you who's not going away right now is James Watson. He has just retaken the race lead. He keeps taking it 3 wide, and he's taken it 3 wide on every lane so far. Watson has always been a guy to experiment with the lanes.
Well, it's going to help him towards the end of the race as it starts getting a little more hectic. He's going to know exactly where he...
Contact!
Oh, and there's contact!
Oh, we're affected! DeMade into the catch fence, Lafferty, Siefker, Johnston.
And
Rondoletto, Rondoletto is checking up. I don't believe Rondoletto was involved. So that's good news for him, but bad news for a lot of other drivers.
That was absolutely massive, but I don't think any of the Championship 3 were involved.
I did not see where Gavin Sanders shook out. He may have been ahead of it, I believe.
I think he was 1 car ahead of where they started really going.
And Rondoletto was well behind it, got on the binders. So did everybody that was behind him, including his teammate Bruno Miranda. So I believe they both missed it. But Dakota DeMade took the cockpit first ride up into the catch fence after, I believe, contact from Siefker and Lafferty. You're going to have to get a better look at it here.
Yeah, we're going to try to take a look. I'm going to rack up that replay for us here. And there's some contact there. Let me see who this is between. Try to get a better look. I think it's Lemon in the 5. And is there a 50?
58. That is Lafferty.
Okay, so Lafferty and Lemon are going to get together here. I'm just going to go behind them, do a little slow-mo action. Lemon comes up just a little bit. They just kind of go for the same spot, trying to arc the corner. Lemon's going to spin. It puts Lafferty into, I believe that was DeMade. More are going to get together. You see drivers spinning to try to avoid. That's Kresge. Flaum's right in there. I think Siefker's in there as well. And where is Rondoletto through all this? He is well behind. And look at this scene in front of Rondoletto. My goodness. He puts on
carnage.
He puts on the binders, and a good thing he did. Goes very slow. Let some of these guys get rolling before he even attempts to try to clear the scene. We're going to go ahead and stick it on him and see what he saw throughout this whole thing.
And while you're taking a look at that, I can tell you that Matthew Johnson, DL Lemon, Christopher Kresge, Charles Grove all have meatball flags, so that should be the end of their races. Dakota DeMate is already disconnected, unfortunately, so he will not get back to victory lane here this season, unfortunately. Also to note, everybody just came down pit road, not a single stayer.
So you see all the carnage for Rondoletto. He survives. And there are currently, I believe, 9 cars on the track, a lot more trying to get some damage fixed.
A lot of cars involved in that one. That was that's about what I was expecting, because they were really getting after it there. So the first caution there came out, I believe that was on lap number 9. I think we only got over double-digit opening green flag run twice this season. So it's not out of the ordinary to see a crash in the opening laps, and certainly no stranger to a crash of that magnitude or larger in the opening laps here this season. We have had some humdingers.
Well, I'll tell you who this is going to help if we don't have many cars on the lead lap here. That's going to help Octavio Rondoletto, as he's only going to have to beat a few cars maybe at the end of this thing to be able to secure a championship. So we talked about him moving way back. He was all the way back to, I believe, 19th at one point, and it looks like his strategy played out perfectly in his hand. He's going to be sitting in 8th right now. I mean, just a masterful strategy job there.
Yeah, with only 16 cars left. I believe only 16 cars left, actually. There's nothing more to that sentence. As Lemon, Kresge, DeMay, Johnston, and Grove all in the pits right now with meatball flags and or disconnected already. So Neil Lesher, actually Austin Lafferty is showing in 16th. I wonder if... Actually, he doesn't have a meatball flag, even though he was one of the first to get involved there. So he may be well off the pace, but still riding around here. As I'm going to wait to see if we're coming back to the green. Do you see the lights on the pace car? I can't really get a good look.
Let me take a look at the old chase cam here, and I'll tell you, there are no lights on the pace truck, so I believe we're getting ready to go green here.
Alrighty, so coming to lap number 13. It'll be 48 laps to go when we come back around. And this race went to the time limit last year, unfortunately. And if they keep racing like that, it's certainly going to go again. So I'll keep an eye on the projected laps left as this race rolls along. But nevertheless, right now, we are back to the green. Michael the Turk leading James Watson. And Drew White in P3.
Drew White's coming out to play. We haven't talked about him a whole lot this season. He's missed a few races, but he was the inaugural winner of the very first race at Atlanta in the RIL Daredevil Series. Very good on ovals. Finds himself in the 3rd spot, and he goes to the inside. He's looking for more.
Thanks to Ben Carswell, Samuel Patton, hanging out with us in the chat. Getting excited about the crashing that we just saw. Yeah, that was a wild one for sure.
And there's some lap traffic here. I don't know who that is. Maybe Claiborne?
I think it is Claiborne. Staying out of the way on the bottom. As Drew White just got a big run there on Michael the Turk. Pulls to the inside, looking to clear him for the race lead.
And here comes one of the champions. Here comes one of the championship 3. Sanders has now gotten past Watson.
And P4 and P5 is really the furthest back that we've seen James Watson all night. Up to this point, he's done everything that he needs to do. And he can be as much in control of his own destiny as possible by winning this race and let the chips fall as they may after that.
And it's gotten a little cloudier here than it was for practice and at the start of the race. I'm going to pull up our weather here and just take a look to see what the track temperature is now.
It was actually kind of cloudy like this during practice as well, and I hadn't noticed how sunny it had gotten.
Track temperatures dropped a little bit. When I pulled it up, it was 122, now down to 121. So it is going down. It seems like the north part of the track is much cloudier than the south part. So some different driving conditions around the track here. That can be a little tricky.
White and Turk swapping that lead position rather back and forth amongst themselves. Michael DeTurk, in talking to him both on air and off air, all he has left to accomplish, he feels, is win on a big oval like this. He has a win on an oval last season at Milwaukee, but that ran more like a road course than an oval in terms of it. Or I guess it ran more like a traditional race and less like a pack race. He wants to win on a big pack-style race like this, and he feels like he's more than capable. And you know what? I have to agree with him. He's had some great runs on these pack-style races, and he's gotten wrecked out of all but one of them. And the one that he didn't get wrecked out of was running up front here at Indy last year, and elected to come down to the pits, not realizing how much time was left in the race. And for all intents and purposes, really kind of screwed himself. But, I mean, he's run up front in pretty much every big pack race that we've had and has yet to come away with a victory. So it could be a big check in his final box to tick, I believe, here tonight if he keeps running like this. But how about Christian Jasper? He just got a big run there. He is going to go up now to P3 on the bottom as White is around. Oh, he hit Sanders. More wrecking. Rondoletto made it through, but Sanders took a hard shot off of Drew White.
Sanders is still rolling.
Now we have seen, and I'll throw it back to Wesley Shire at Charlotte earlier this season. He had a car land directly on top of his tub, and not only did he not have a meatball, but he didn't have any performance issues at all. I'm not saying that is what the case is here, but it's not uncommon for the sim not to register the contact.
Wow.
I believe what happened there with Drew White is he got down onto the rumble strips and lost the back of the car.
Yeah, I think he might have gotten loose before then, to be quite honest.
Hey, he could have.
He tried to make a move to kind of block down on the bottom. And you see he gets loose before he goes into the grass. He's trying to save it. I think he overcorrects it to the right, tries to swing it back around to the left, and he just breaks completely loose. He's going to bounce off the wall here. This is Sanders in that red car. Huge contact. Sanders makes contact with, I believe that's Flaum and Isidro. And you can see Sanders' car, his front wing doesn't even look damaged, so this might be a similar situation.
I am sitting in his cockpit right now, and the wheel is straight. It doesn't look like there's any significant damage, so I think he might be okay. We'll have to wait and see.
That is unbelievable if that's the case. I'm going to try to give the people a look here. As you can see, it goes Noom in the Raceverse livery. Everything's still there. The words are readable. The number is readable. I mean, I can't believe that is some serious luck of netcode, which usually you don't get. Usually netcode is a bad thing.
Samuel Patton in the chat says he's waiting for Christian Jasper to do some ninja stuff. I think you picked the right night for it. He has ninja moved his way all the way up to P2. He is running great. He stayed ahead of that one, crucially, or I guess sidestepped it. As I believe we're going to lose Drew White, of course. Wesley Shire is already gone. Zachary Flaum as well picked up a meatball out of that. But those are the only three that picked up significant damage out of that crash.
And here we go, once again, playing into the hand of Octavio Rondoletto, who stayed behind there, was not caught up in the incident. Sanders almost got the really bad end of the deal, but looks, it was a regular pit stop. It looks like his car is just fine.
And while we got a second here, going to give a shout out to the title sponsor. It is here in Indy, very fittingly. If you find yourself here outside of the sim, carve out a little time to visit the title sponsor of the RIL Daredevil Series, Daredevil Brewing Company. Their brewery and tap room open Monday to Friday, located right here in Speedway, right across the street from AJ Foyt Racing, just south of the track. If you're not in the mood for some brew as much as you are for some good food, check out the restaurant Daredevil Hall, open Tuesday to Sunday on the northeast end of Indianapolis. In addition to their tap room and restaurant, you can find their products all across Indiana in restaurants and grocery stores, including the #1 best-selling Indiana-made IPA Liftoff. Even if you won't be in Speedway anytime soon, you can still place an order online at daredevilbeer.com. If nothing else, be sure to get on their socials and sincerely thank Daredevil Brewing Company for coming on board last season and sticking around for this season and supporting these guys with the Revolution Indy League. It is greatly appreciated. And we thank them, as always, for being the title sponsor of this great series that we call the RIL Daredevils. And also, speaking of Christian Jasper, let's give some love to the man, because tonight's finale race is presented by CJaz Endeavors. From commercials to video games, books to blurbs, if you need any voice work done, Christian Jasper is your guy. Demos are at the ready by request, and he is eager to work with you on whatever project you've got going. Message at CJaz Endeavors on Twitter for pricing. And if you're like me and you can't spell Endeavors, the link is in the description for you.
And Tommy, in the YouTube chat, Samuel Patton asked, if we get the 4X, does someone win a prize? They don't win a prize if we get the 4X, but what can somebody win if they go throughout the season not being involved in wrecks during the races at all?
Well, I tell you what, it's seeming less and less likely that we're going to add anybody to the pot here tonight for the Jacksonville Speedway Zero-Zero Challenge, which we will be drawing for at the end of this race. So any driver that finishes tonight on the lead lap with a 0x incident count will add themselves into the Jacksonville Speedway Zero-Zero Challenge pot. It's at $29 for every driver that enters the pot after tonight. That will go up by $1 per driver. And we are drawing for that after the race on stream here tonight, so stick around for that. And we thank everybody for coming out here tonight to hang out with us. If you're quiet in the chat, let's change that. Announce your presence. We'd love to hear from you. Twitch chat is completely silent, so let's get some chat going on the Twitch here. As Michael the Turk in control of the restart once again, and he's back to the line, and we are green. 40 laps to go. Sim is still saying that we can get all 60 laps in here tonight.
And with only 11 drivers on the lead lap, we're looking for things to maybe settle down a bit here. Although you saw Drew White just got loose all on his own. We have seen that many times here in the Daredevil Series previously, and the track conditions are pretty conducive to that sort of behavior from the cars. So our drivers here are going to really have to mind themselves going forward for these last 40 laps we have here.
You said 11 cars on the lead lap, and that is true, but Neil Lusher is 29 seconds behind this lead pack. So we have 10 cars up front here. And let's run through the scenarios again. Watson needs to win, needs Gavin Sanders to finish third, needs Rondoletto to finish seventh, or worse for both of those drivers. Sanders needs a win and needs a Rondoletto P5. And Rondoletto, if he can finish fourth or better here tonight, and he's done a good job of staying out of trouble thus far, if he can finish P4 or better, he will ice both drivers no matter where they finish. So that's the long short of it. Things get dicey, these drivers all crash. We'll have to do some calculating further to see how things are going to shake out. But for right now, all three of them are in the mix here, running in third, fourth, and seventh as they cross the line. And actually, Rondoletto is in P8. I was looking at Bruno Miranda. I don't know how Crofty does it in Formula One with all those drivers running the exact same cars. Just to look at the top of their helmets to figure out who is driving the car. That is insane. I obviously can't do that. As Christian Jasper led across the line that time, Michael the Turk is giving him the good fight back on the outside. And now that we've had a couple of laps here under green, we can confirm really what we believe to be the case after the significant contact from White to Sanders that the sim didn't register it. Sanders is doing just fine, tucked up behind Michael the Turk there on the outside line.
Yeah, that's a huge break. Gavin Sanders is going to owe the netcode gods one after that. You need that sort of luck to win a championship. I mean, let's just be honest. Those are the sorts of things that are going to keep you in the hunt. And it's not always as dramatic as that one was in the last race of the season, because it's happened multiple times throughout our 9 races here. But that one, very prominent. He wants to make good on that. A little gift from netcode and maybe pull this thing out.
And you're right that the north end of the track is in some pretty significant shade, and it's not necessarily the case on the south side of the track. I believe weather is set on auto-generate, so it's just kind of doing whatever it wants. And it's made it incredibly hot and also cloudy at the same time, so that's quite the combo.
Well, also to mention there, Drew White was in turn 1 when he got loose there, which is the part that's in the sun. That is the hot part of the track, so you have to believe that played a little bit of a role probably in what happened there.
So we're going to need one more stop. We should, I believe, be good to the end. If we were to go green on one more stop, it might be a little bit close. But I believe we'll be good to go with just one more stop. We'll have to wait and see, though. As the Turk and Jasper battling side by side for the entirety of this green flag run, and most of the last green flag run as well. Gavin Sanders is now up to P3. He's got Daryl Weininger now to his inside as James Watson has slid back to the spot number 5. Nate Seeker running in P6. Octavio Rondoletto now up in 7th with his teammate in tow. Bruno Miranda is the last car in this lead pack in P8. Hugo Glaz with some damage has slipped out in P9. And Nicholas Senior rounds out your top 10. Last car on the lead lap is Neil Lusher in 11th. And 2 more cars running, both 4 laps down. It's Austin Lafferty and Cody Claiborne in spots number 12 and 13.
Hey, Tommy, I know this isn't something that we've done very often here on Turn 200, but
oh boy,
I think I have.
You're ready to do it.
I think I have a little thing. I think it's getting a little too quiet. What do you say we go ahead and crank it on up?
Woo! Let's crank it up, brother.
And as we come back from cranking it up, the Turk is on the outside of Jasper, still looking for the top spot. Weininger's tried to look to the bottom a couple of times, but just hasn't been able to make it work. Also, I mean, not settling down a ton, but settled down a little bit from what we saw earlier.
You may have seen something out of your corner of your eye, a car off track. That was actually Neil Lusher, who was getting ready to get lapped. He stayed to the inside of the track and actually pulled it into the infield road course to stay out of the way of the leaders. And then after that, just selected the tow to come down pit road. So if he decides to come back out onto the track, he will be at least a couple of laps down after that. So that officially leaves us with 10 cars now on the lead lap. It is shaping up really well for Octavio Rondoletto. As they run right now, has the championship. He is in P7, which is not his ideal position, because that is in a win scenario for both Watson and Sanders. But as they run right now, Sanders is battling for 3rd. Watson is in 5th.
What's really funny is it seems to me that Sanders and Watson are in a little bit of a precarious situation here because they need to find themselves to the front, but they also really can't have anybody else wreck out of this race. Otherwise, they might just hand this thing to Rondoletto based on how many cars are going to be left at the end. So, on one hand, you want to push to get yourself in that good position, but you don't want to force an issue and cause a wreck either. Pretty tricky spot for both of these guys to be in right now.
And again, there are 8 cars in this lead pack. One of them is Bruno Miranda, who absolutely will not pass Octavio Rondoletto until he for sure has this championship stitched up. And even then, he might not try and go for a pass on him. But as Gavin Sanders goes up into second, he actually, I believe, would have the championship if it ended right now, with Rondoletto back in 7th.
We have another lapped car coming up here in just a second.
Ooh, I believe that's Cody Claiborne again. Tight quarters there and through the chute. Claiborne staying up in the racing line. That drew the ire of a couple of drivers on the radio. As we are across halfway now. 30 down, 30 to go. It'll be 29 to go at the line. One more pit stop is still needed for these drivers. And I mentioned a couple of times that Hugo Galaz is off the pace a little bit. He's actually not. He is not connected to this main pack, but is held right at the same margin for the better part of 5 laps. He's right around 2.4 seconds behind the leader. And so may just be able to barely sniff a draft off of Bruno Miranda and stay in touch. Vanity Fair in the chat saying that the V8s sound glorious on these cars. I have to agree. Lotus 79s on the ovals provide quite the spectacle here on the sim. As Gavin Sanders just took it up the middle 3 wide to go up to the race lead. And he's got the championship as they run.
And DeTurk stuck his nose down into the bottom. Sanders gave him a lot of room, just kept it there in the middle. And I thought DeTurk was going to get around both him and Jasper, but he hasn't up to this point. Sanders is able to pull it out in the middle lane, which I was actually really surprised about.
Now 28 laps to go. It's not panic time yet for Octavio Rondoletto, especially since he's still hooked up with the leaders here.
So you see some aggressive, almost blocking from Sanders on DeTurk. That could get interesting here.
Sanders, before today's race, had led the most laps this season out of all Daredevil drivers, despite the fact that he missed the first 3 rounds of the championship. Michael DeTurk, with his performance thus far in this race, has overtaken Gavin Sanders for that mark. As more lap traffic ahead is Austin Lafferty. He does not hit the service road and instead will have to have the leaders move around him through the chute here. Oh, and Weininger gets moved up the track. Wow, not leaving much room there for Weininger or for James Watson. I'm sure Watson had a big bulgy eyes there as through the middle goes Christian Jasper back to the lead.
Yeah, that was pretty hairy. Lafferty didn't get out of the bottom groove into turn 1. Thought he was going to pull down out of 1. Didn't. Stayed in that line going into 2. I think all the drivers probably expected him to pull off there, and they were just maybe a little bit surprised that he didn't. So had to make some evasive maneuvers. Weininger might have made a little contact. That was pretty close.
Certainly within range to make some netcode contact, and maybe did not. I'm not sure, but everybody gets it gathered up. Now the question is going to be, can these drivers, as Darrell Weininger goes into pit road. Weininger has just hit pit road. Now the question is what is the fuel window?
Yeah, I mean, we said that the fuel window was probably going to be between like 20 to 22, 23 laps, something around there probably. I got to be honest with you. I don't remember what lap our yellow was on previously. I can go take a look here.
Michael the Turk just called out over the radio that he will be coming to pit road this time. So I'm not quite sure if we're within the fuel window yet. This may be a two-stopper. We'll have to see. I think 25 laps is very much on the high end of the pit window here.
You see Deturk come in. Watson's going to come in too.
Watson.
Sanders staying out.
Sanders battling with Jasper.
Rondoletto, the Juncos Esports drivers of Rondoletto and Miranda elect to stay out as well. So Watson putting himself on a different strategy from the rest of the field and the rest of the championship 3, more importantly.
And also, we'll have a driver to work with here in Deturk as both of those drivers get in cleanly. We'll have to see if they can get out clean as well. Christian Jasper is coming in to pit this time. And he'll probably bring others with him, I'd imagine.
Also to mention here, I just went and took a look. It looked like we took the green flag on lap 17. So we were on right around lap 35, maybe 36 when everybody's starting to come in. We are right at that 20-lap mark that we were talking about previously. So either save fuel at this point, I guess, or you're going to have to come in for a splash. I'm not sure which it's going to be.
Jasper's the only one to come down pit road this time, and this is not like the IR-18. You know, this car was built in 1978. There's no fuel save maps or engine modes or anything for these cars. So it's all on the driver at this point.
Yeah, just good old-fashioned keeping your foot only halfway down on the throttle, I suppose. These drivers are going to try to stretch this thing out as far as they can. And actually, now that we mention it, we did see some split pit strategy on that last caution. I don't remember who came in and who stayed out, but I do remember there were about 3 or 4 drivers that stayed out, and that might have made the difference here.
So it's the top 5 drivers who have yet to come in to get green flag service here. It's Gavin Sanders leading Nate Siefker. Octavio Rondoletto is in 3rd. Bruno Miranda in 4th. Hugo Galaz has caught this group as well. He is now running in P5. And we talked about Octavio hanging back a little bit here, even with the Palmer C's up front, if you will. And that may have been the plan. He knew he'd be close on fuel and elected to stay back and do a little saving. And the more and more laps that tick by here before these guys come down to pit, they're going to be looking prettier and prettier as this race rolls along.
Yeah, and if this thing stays green the way it is now, I mean, Rondoletto is basically looking at winning this thing because there are 5 laps on this lead group. If they all come in together and have a good pit stop, Rondoletto's teammate Miranda is going to be out there with this group and will likely just let Rondoletto by to finish 4th. And the 4th place finish is what's going to wrap it up no matter what for Rondoletto. So a pretty interesting little strategy being played out here.
Rondoletto, of course, the winner of his very first Daredevil was race number 1 of this season. And he has not looked back from the top of the leaderboard since. As Nate Siefker will be coming down pit road this time. Here comes Gavin Sanders as well. The other 3 stay out. The South American contingent now runs a 1-2-3. Teammates Rondoletto and Miranda. The Argentinian and the Brazilian. And the Chilean Hugo Galaz also in the 3rd spot. As Sanders and Siefker. Gavin Sanders, black flag.
I was just going to say, when we were watching him, it looked like he sailed it in there pretty good. He's going to need some help to be able to come back from that one. That's a huge mistake.
Without a caution, the championship is over for Gavin Sanders. Unless Octavio Rondoletto makes a similar mistake. We'll have to see. How much longer can the Juncos drivers make it? And here comes Rondoletto now to pit road. That answers that question.
And surprisingly,
Rondoletto much smoother into pit road.
And his teammate Miranda stays out. I can't believe that the teammates didn't come in together. I mean, we try to talk about we try to talk about strategy all the time up here in the booth, and everything that I thought was going to happen, nothing has happened that I thought was going to happen. So our broadcast strategy is just out the window here tonight.
And Rondoletto pulls into the pit stall behind Sanders. And just as he stopped, Sanders got going. So a massive penalty for Sanders. I believe 40 seconds, which is over a lap. Or just under a lap, rather.
Miranda's going to come in now. Hugo Galaz is going to be your leader. He's going to lead this one. He is the only car that has not come into pit from that lead pack on green flag pit stops.
And Hugo Galaz, let's give a little bit of love to him here. He's the only one of 4 drivers, rather, to make every start here this season in season number 2. This is his first season with the Daredevils. I believe these are his first career laps led out front at Indianapolis. He has been the model of consistency here this season. He is always somewhere between 6th, 7th, and 8th. Has 2 6th-place finishes here this season and is looking pretty good to do a little bit better than that here tonight just by virtue of how many cars are left. As he will give up the lead, we'll see who to. The likely candidates are probably James Watson and Michael DeTurk, who have found their way to the top of the heap of those who have pit already.
And Miranda actually came out with them as well. Obviously not at the same time, but he came out right in front of them, and they came to him, and he was able to catch on to him. And it's a group of 4 drivers here leading this thing. And we'll show you here with the battle box. It's going to be DeTurk, Watson, Siefker, and Miranda.
Miranda, Watson, and Siefker were 3 wide for what now is spot number 2. As Hugo Galaz has still scored the leader across the line last time, but there he is on the service lane. Ooh, getting a little loose there with the rear tires. And I don't believe he'll be able to latch onto this group as they are already cooking and bucking down the back straightaway here.
Not going to catch on to the first one, but he is going to be with the second group. The second group here is going to be Rondoletto and Christian Jasper.
So the only thing that can happen here championship-wise, as of right now, as Gavin Sanders is on the tail end of the lead lap, holding on for dear life, James Watson would need to get up into the lead, and Octavio Rondoletto would need to give up positions to Galaz and to Jasper, the only 2 drivers that he's running with. A Watson win and a Rondoletto P7 would give Watson the title. But Watson would need to pick up 3 spots, and Rondoletto would need to drop 2. And Watson, more crucially, I think, would have to pass his teammate Bruno Miranda. Or pass Rondoletto's teammate Bruno Miranda. And again, there are no teams in the RIL, but Rondoletto and Miranda have been working together all season, and quite beautifully, may I add. And so it's not going to go down easy if Watson is going to have to get past Miranda.
No, certainly not. And just to keep tabs on Sanders, Sanders is about a straightaway ahead of your leaders right now. So in a little bit of jeopardy of being lapped here, as we only have 15 laps to go.
15 to go in the season.
And what has been a wild one.
Yeah, a crazy season, absolutely. And remember how it started, too. We had, very similar to this, we had 2 big cautions at Auto Club to really clear out the field, and then 1 very long green flag run to end it. It came down to Nate Siefker, Nicholas Johnston, and Octavio Rondoletto, the 3 drivers that were scrapping for it after the green flag pit cycle was over. And Rondoletto came out on top. He has not lost the points lead past that point. Rondoletto is not in the lead group here, but is in control of this championship as they run. Right now it is Bruno Miranda and Nate Siefker battling side by side for the race lead. Michael DeTurk looking for his first win on a big oval here. And James Watson looking for a championship. They run 1st through 4th. Siefker's going to get a big run here. and take the lead away from Miranda, at least across the line. Cannot get him cleared on that outside, though.
And Watson really hasn't tried to make any moves. Might just be biding his time, saving a little tire here, getting ready for this last push that he's going to have to make. He knows that he can make the moves. I mean, he's made, at the beginning of the race, he was up front the entire time, swapping positions back and forth from 5th all the way up to 1st and back and forth like a rubber band. So he knows that he can do it. He might just be laying back here, letting these guys use up a little tire and be waiting to shoot his shot here towards the end of the race. Although this second group looks like it is closing in a little bit.
That's what I was just about to say. As they came across the line that time, they are just outside of tow range. They are 1.2 seconds behind James Watson, and Rondoletto got a big surge of momentum there with help from Hugo Galaz. So these guys are going to start to close in here, especially now that Watson and Deturk are side by side. This is going to be a 7-car battle, which may or may not be what James Watson wants. We'll have to see how it shakes out.
Looked like Siefker went all the way down to the grass on the inside almost to try to make a move. That was close.
And yeah, these guys are here. Absolutely well within tow range now. That was fantastic work from Jasper, Galaz, and from Rondoletto. And they have attached themselves to the lead pack here. We almost saw it happen at the end of last season's race, where we would have had a big pack of about 8 or 9 scrapping for it at the end of it. But the big caution right as the second group caught the first group meant that we didn't get a big race-ending scrap like that. But we are going to get it here now. It'll be 10 laps to go when they come back around to the front straightaway. Siefker and Miranda. The drivers looking for their first wins this season. Siefker, a winner last season at Pocono. Miranda in his first full season. Got his first podium a couple of weeks ago at Gateway.
Also an interesting little tidbit here. Sanders, who is 37 seconds behind the leaders, is actually gained a little bit of time, only a couple of seconds, but not really in jeopardy of being lapped here. So if there is a caution, that would help him immensely. And there might be one, as there is some jockeying for position between Watson and Jasper, going 3 wide here.
Jasper thought about pushing Watson, then elects to go to the outside. Doesn't have a whole lot of room to work with Deturk out there, but he makes it work nevertheless. And we do have 2 lap cars in front of the late race leaders here.
We've seen some lap cars kind of get in the way here before. Claiborne's going to try to stick to the top.
And he does. There is one more car up here, though.
This car is going to stick to the top as well. It's difficult in the turns, though. Lead pack's going to go single file through here.
Some confusion over the radio as Christopher Kresge has just came into the driver text chat to say that the race may reach the time limit. I'm showing that we can still get every lap in, though. With 9 laps to go, we have 6.5 minutes. It's going to be close, but I think we're right on the number. Nate Siefker seems to think that there's only 3 minutes left in this race. That might be why the intensity's starting to ramp up here. I think a little bit of confusion on how much time is actually left in this race as Miranda throws the block on Jasper. Jasper sticking it 3 wide. Jasper will not be denied this year. Oh, nearly contact.
Siefker got loose too.
Siefker rolls out of it.
Siefker on the wall.
He takes Galaz with him. Rondoletto squirts through. The caution is out. This race will be going to the time limit. Wow. As tight as you can get, and it proved to be too tight. Nate Siefker is in trouble again. Meatball flag for Nate Siefker and for Hugo Galaz. And oh boy. Here we go again.
My heart is pounding. I'm going to try to rack up a replay here. You got a pretty good look live of what happened, but we're going to see if we can see exactly what happened. We're going to go right along with Nate Siefker.
And while you do that, I will keep an eye on the time. I would imagine we're in maybe a green-white checkered or another one-lap shootout. We'll have to see.
Yeah, we've seen one-lap shootouts a couple of times before. We're going to back it all the way up to this spot. This is 3 wide. Siefker on the outside. Christian Jasper in the middle. I believe that's Miranda on the inside as well. Jasper and Miranda both move up the track just a little bit. Siefker really trying to stay in the racing line. A little contact. You can see Siefker's really loose here, but he's trying to hold on to it. Really trying to stay in the gas as he hasn't lost a lot of time there, but couldn't get the car turned all the way. Gets into the wall. And you're going to see he tries to get off the wall, and he's going to come down and tag Galaz. And Rondoletto, I can't believe it. He's going to escape another incident.
By the skin of his teeth. And now what this does, championship-wise, well, first of all, there are 4.5 minutes left in this session. So we need to get back going here in the next couple of laps. We'll have to see. It's going to be at least a 2-lap shootout, maybe down to a 1-lap dash. Watson in 3rd. Rondoletto in 5th. Gavin Sanders now will be back in 7th. Crucially, this means that Rondoletto cannot drop to be the last car in this pack if James Watson were to win this race. That is the split. We think, at least, we'll put the asterisk next to it, that I did this math. So it is probably wrong. But we think James Watson winning this race, Rondoletto finishing in 7th, would give James Watson the title.
Also in that, Sanders is now going to be with the lead pack. He stayed on the lead lap there. So Sanders can also get all the way up to 2nd if that happens, and he can take the title.
Yes. A lot of numbers to keep track of, but basically, this is hunker down time, to borrow a Matt Williamsonism, for James Watson.
A Matt Williamsonism written by Tommy Cookism.
I attributed it to you.
Oh, I appreciate it.
It's yours then.
I got a ghostwriter.
Sim is still saying we could get 60 laps in, but the little Enye that's next to it has gone away. So I would imagine we're probably on lap 60 in the Sim's mind right now. Those laps are going to start ticking down here momentarily.
Yeah, and the lights are out on the pace truck now, so we are going to have one more lap around and then go green, although there are only, I think, maybe 3.5 minutes or so left.
3 minutes and 10 seconds, yep.
Yep, so we're right at the end of this thing. We will probably get 2 laps, and that's going to be my best guesstimation.
I think you're correct. I think we're in for a green-white checkered here. The race will end on lap 59, 58, one of the two. But Sim is still saying 60 laps are up. I'll let you know when that ticks down to 59, and once it does, it'll pretty quickly go back down to 58.
And for the viewers' information, there are more cars in this pack than there are on the lead lap. You can see on the tower, Isidro in 8th is a lap down. So basically anybody behind Sanders, who is in the red number 10 race first car, is a lap down here. So those last 3 cars in this pack are not eligible.
It's Bruno Miranda in control of his teammates' destiny out front. Christian Jasper looking for redemption from last season. James Watson looking for a championship. When they come back to the line, 4 laps to go. Now, where do Rondoletto and Sanders factor into this as well? It's a great jump for the top 3. Michael DeTurk lags back a bit. as Jasper takes a peek to the outside there through turn number 2, heading to the back straightaway. Watson hanging tough. Rondoletto in 5th right now, in control of the championship. That will not change unless he loses 2 spots. Sanders battling Weininger side by side, as up front they're looking to go 3 wide. Miranda, Jasper, and Watson. 3 to go.
You can see Watson really trying to squeeze down on Miranda, trying to get as much ground there as possible. You see Sanders back there, does get around Weininger.
Here comes Michael the Turk into the mix. He's got a huge surge of momentum. He takes him to the outside 3 wide. Watson's going to try and plug the hole behind him.
Whoa, and Watson, a little bobble there, a little bit loose behind the Turk on the outside.
That brings everybody right back into play. 3 wide for the lead. Watson in 4th. Sanders, Rondoletto 5th and 6th. Watson giving help to Miranda. A dead heat, 3 wide across the line.
Boy,
2 to go.
We thought this thing was going to end with 3 cars up in the lead pack, and this thing is getting wild.
Miranda on the bottom, Jasper in the middle, DeTurk up top, Watson, Sanders now to the outside to help DeTurk.
Watson and Sanders are pushing the 2 cars in front of them down the backstretch.
Weininger to the inside of Watson. Contact! They're all wrecking!
Around. My goodness!
Everybody just crashed. That was the entire field. Who is going to get back to the gas? Jasper's the only one rolling. Watson is rolling as well. Isidro just cleaned out Sanders.
This is the checkered flag.
Who's going to get to the line? I think. I don't know what I think.
It's Octavio Rondoletto.
Rondoletto wins. Rondoletto to the line. He wins the race. Rondoletto is your Season 2 Drivers Champion. Christian Jasper in 2nd. Daryl Weininger rounds out your podium. And what was that? What just happened?
I'm speechless. I don't know what this... That was the wildest thing I've ever seen in sim racing.
All right. Well, I can tell you this. It's career win number 2 for Octavio Rondoletto. He made his debut here this season in the opening round of the championship, where he won by 1/1000th of a second. And you didn't think he could do it any crazier than that. The entire field just crashed, including Rondoletto, and he beats Christian Jasper to the line by 10.5 seconds to win the CJaz Endeavors Indianapolis season finale, and he wins the Season 2 championship. You got to take a look at this.
We're going to let Rondoletto celebrate while I'm going to rack up a replay. I got to go find this one because I haven't been doing my job since I saw what I saw. I'm going to go try to try to take a look. I don't know where to start here.
Well, I can tell you, I don't think we had anybody to the Jacksonville Speedway Zero-Zero challenge here tonight, so that makes that part of the job easier.
That is certainly not the case. All right, we have a replay racked up here. This is Miranda in the Juncos Esports green and white car on the inside, Jasper in the middle, DeTurk on the outside. Your championship contenders, Watson in purple, Sanders in red, and Rondoletto in the other green and white car back there on the top side, 3 back. Watson and Sanders were pushing DeTurk and Jasper all the way down the backstretch.
Miranda and Jasper. Jasper comes down to try to get a big run. They're going to make contact. That's going to push the Turk up the track. They are going to spin. Watson gets into Miranda. Rondoletto gets back into them. This is Rondoletto right here, sideways spinning in the 24 car. This is going to end up being your race winner. This is where he is last place after this crash, but he takes the least amount of damage. His teammate, Miranda, is upside down, spinning into one. Your other championship contender, Sanders, is spinning upside down into one as well. You see Jasper on the inside. Look at this move by Rondoletto. He just backs it up. This is unbelievable. He comes to a complete stop, and I think he realizes he has to keep going because he's in a complete stop right now.
Never in all my days.
I'm going to play it out from here. The caution doesn't come out. He realizes he has to keep going. There's Watson in the purple car. Huge damage. Can't even really continue. And that's it. That's the race win right there.
Wow.
Absolutely just
I mean, we've seen some stuff here this season, I tell you that. But I have never seen that.
Have you ever?
No, I have never.
Well, we try to gather our thoughts here. Let's look at the full race results. What do you say?
Yeah, and we hope to talk maybe to Christian Jasper, who was a bridesmaid again here at Indianapolis. We hope to talk to him momentarily. We also hope to have our Booth 200 debut of Daryl Weininger, if he could come up into the waiting for interview. They finish on the podium here tonight. Michael the Turk, P4. James Watson rounds out your top 5. It is then Bruno Miranda in 6th. Gavin Sanders will then finish in 7th. Miranda and Sanders were involved in that last lap crash, of course. But they did not cross the line, so they're credited with a 1 lap down finish in 6th and 7th. Nicholas Cedro in 8th. Hugo Galaz then and Nate Siefka round out your top 10. Then it is Austin Lafferty, Cody Claiborne, 11th and 12th. Neil Usher will finish in 13th. Drew White in 14th. Zachary Flem in 15th. It is Wes A. Shire, DL Lemon, Christopher Kresge, Dakota DeMade, Matthew Johnson, and Charles Grove. The rest of your finishing order here, as we just had everybody in the waiting for interview, and now everybody is gone. Where did everybody go? Rondoletto, Jasper, Weininger, if you could, hop back into waiting for interview. And while we are waiting for somebody to come back into waiting for interview, well, we can announce officially that Christopher Kresge has said that nobody is qualified for the Jacksonville Speedway Zero-Zero Challenge here tonight. So that's not surprising, given what we have just seen. Octavio just messaged me and said that he's having some technical difficulties and is working on it. Well, let's go ahead and bring in a driver who did not get to finish here tonight, but put on a whale of a show. That is Gavin Sanders, who will finish second in the championship here tonight. And I want to congratulate you first on a great season, because it truly was fantastic to watch you work week in and week out. But disappointment here tonight with a P7 finish. Have you ever seen anything like that on the last lap ever?
No, not quite. I knew it was going to be quite sketchy, but I think I made my move, and that's all I'm going to say. Everybody else just kind of, yeah. Yeah, no real comment for what just happened, but it's unfortunate. I do apologize to Nick Isidro. I had no control of my car, so that's my bad when he came around and everybody was stopped in the middle of the track. But yeah, no, it definitely a disappointing finish. I mean, it was all the circumstances had to be right, and quite frankly, after the 2 wrecks, it didn't seem like it was going places. I was quite frankly just lucky to be there, so at least we can credit that. But a sort of half or three-quarter season. Well done, coming from me at least.
Absolutely. Fantastic week in and week out as always. And who do you want to thank here tonight? I know you didn't finish the podium. Give you some love.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Big thank you to Team Race First, all the team guys there. It wouldn't have been possible without them. It wouldn't have even been close. Big shout out to Sunset Arctic Games, buy EchoBlade on Steam. And yeah, as always, thanks to you guys for putting on a heck of a season in the broadcast booth and making it making this league what it is, right?
Well, yeah, I don't even know how to rebut anything anymore. I'm still processing that. But thanks again. Thanks as always for the time, and we look forward to seeing you in the future here.
I appreciate it, guys. Take care, and we'll see you next season.
Sounds like a plan. Gavin Sanders finishes P2 in the championship. P2 in the race here tonight goes to Christian Jasper for the second season in a row. Not quite as close of a photo finish as it was last season, but you're proving yourself to be mighty handy at Indianapolis here. Even before we get to the memery and the debauchery there on the last lap. I mean, you would run a fantastic race all night long. And does second place still feel good? Does it feel bad? How are you feeling here?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I feel honestly great about even being able to run up at the front. Because I mean, I felt like it was a fun race. You know, it was tight. It was pack race, and it's like it was last season, and like a lot of the other races we've had this season, at least the ones that I've been able to attend. I still feel bad whenever an accident is my fault, even if there was nothing that I could do. If it was my fault, I still don't feel that great. So, you know, anyone that I might have taken out, I do feel like I hip checked on that second to last caution. And if I came down on Bruno, I'm sorry. I like racing hard and close. I don't like being the reason someone's races has ended, including my own.
There's not a whole lot you can do when you're in a situation like that. I don't think anyway, when you were 3 wide and 2 deep, not in a stock car at Talladega. I think everybody's going to be hard pressed to pull a rabbit out of the hat on that one. Matt, you got any questions for Christian here?
I don't know if I have any questions necessarily, but want to congratulate you on the finish. I'm still trying to figure out what the heck even happened there at the end. That was the wildest thing I've ever seen. But I want to thank Christian Jasper. He was our sponsor here tonight at CJaz Endeavors, and also thank you to you for making our points graphics throughout the season. I think all the drivers owe you a big round of applause in their race chairs for that one, because you put together some great graphics for us to show here on stream.
Thank you. It's a lot of fun to be able to do, especially after, you know, just picking it up and learning things as I go, you know, making them a little fancy here and there. Something special for the league. Something special for the league. It's cool to be able to pull something up and be like, hey, I made this.
Yeah, and it looks great every time. I'm sure if I had your capabilities, I would definitely do that every time. Like, oh, yeah, I'm pretty good at what I do. Yeah. Who do you want to give a shout out to here tonight? You earned it.
Oh man. Okay, so first of all, thank you to you guys for putting on this show. It's fantastic broadcast quality. Chef kiss, benissimo. Huge thank you to Kresge for putting on the series and the RIL as a whole. Huge thank you to the guys, honestly, I race with. You know, the league wouldn't be anything without cars on track. It's fun being able to race and learn with everyone that's there. The few times that I'm able to run up front, I always hope that I'm at least racing fair and well enough to where, you know, they feel like they can race me clean. I never want to be that silly little, lack of a better word, silly little man, I guess you could say. Huge thank you to Sunset Arctic Graphics, Dakota DeMade. He did the paints on the car. Honestly, got to give a shout out to him too, especially for the games that he's making and the ones that I took part in. EchoBlade, get it on Steam. Get EchoBlade on Steam. It's awesome. And Voltic Pistol too. That's one I do need to pick up myself. And whoever else I might have forgotten who's plastered on my car. Thank everyone involved with this league. It's a lot of fun being able to do this.
Well, we're glad that we could get to talk to you here this season, and no doubt we'll have many interviews down the road in future series and in season 3. So appreciate the time, appreciate the effort in and out of the car, and congrats again on a P2 here tonight.
Thanks, fellas. Really appreciate it.
All right, it's time. Pop the champagne, everybody. We've got not only a race winner, but we've got a champion driver. It is Argentina's Octavio Rondoletto. Congratulations. Welcome back to the booth. How are you doing?
Thank you, guys. That was extreme.
Absolutely. So the first thing I want to ask you is, we never really saw you up front mixing it up at all throughout the night. Was that a product of the racing? Why weren't you up front, I guess, is the better question.
I was scared because I don't like super speedway. I had the opportunity to win both races in super speedway this championship. Ironic, but that was what I tried to do in the race because I didn't want any accident.
So, talk me through the last 2 corners. You see everybody wrecking in front of you. You get involved. What's the recovery process like for you?
Well, I saw that I tried to block the front tires to don't hit anybody with the back of the car, and I did it. Then I used reverse to spin the car, and when I saw everybody wreck in the wall, I said, I'm winning the race. I will never expect that, to be honest.
I don't know what we were expecting here. Matt, do you have any questions for Octavio?
This is going to get overshadowed by what happened at the end, but there was a lot of strategy happening with pit stops right there in the middle. Your teammate Miranda and yourself did not come in together. What was the thought behind that strategy? Were you just on completely different fuel cycles at that point?
I tried to pit alone to don't have any difficult circumstance in the pit box, in the entry, in the exit, and he tried to catch the group, right? So I was really slow because I didn't want any penalty. I knew if he was in the front of the field with Gavin with a penalty, that would allow me to stay in the leader point, right? And that was all in pit box.
My final question before I let you do your shout outs here is, do you drink milk?
No, but I will. I would.
I was gonna say you might have to here tonight.
Yeah.
Now you have run a incredible season all season long. It's been great from front to back, and you've bookended the season with wins now. Who do you want to thank here tonight, from not only the top of the race podium, but with the Champions Trophy at hand?
To everybody, organization, you guys, my team, my family, they did all this possible because as a team we did a great job, and well, I'm really happy because with spotter, with teammates, we could fight a lot together. Okay, I'm searching. We are searching a sponsor for the team to continue growing. We're doing a great job in all series, especially in NASCAR. I'm racing NASCAR, and yeah, that's all.
Well, there you go. I'd say any sponsor would love to have, or love to be on the side of your cars. You and Bruno and Julian and everybody do a great job every week, and you have been an absolute pleasure to have up here in booth 200 all season long. So I want to thank you for taking the time with us to have interviews after pretty much every race this season. And I want to thank your fans and your family as well for coming out and supporting Turn 200. We really appreciate all of it.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it.
Second career win here tonight for Octavio Rondoletto, and that secures him the championship for the RIL Daredevil Series Season 2. Go party hard, buddy.
Thank you. See you in the next one.
And we will see him in the next one. It's going to be a while until we get the next one in, however. More on that a little bit later. We're not done with the festivities, though, Matt.
We are not. We still have a drawing to be done for the Jacksonville Speedway Zero-Zero Challenge.
All right. I'm going to let you take it over. That way I don't, nobody dislikes me after this.
Alrighty, I'm going to try to get rid of some Google ads on this site here. So
there you go.
Nothing happens for us. We're going to go ahead and try to take a look here. These are going to be all of your drivers on a wheel. And we're going to spin this wheel. So the way this has happened is for the 0-0 challenge, everybody that finished with 0x incidents and 0 laps down in every race got one entry. You can get multiple entries if you did it multiple times. You will see that there are drivers on here multiple times. And we're going to go ahead and spin the wheel. I believe this is for a $29 pot throughout the season that one of these drivers is going to get. And we're going to spin the wheel. And if you get it,
you need to DM me after the race. DM me after the race if you're the driver that wins this.
All righty. We're going to go ahead and spin the wheel right now.
I can't do a drum roll.
And the winner of the 0-0 challenge pot is Julian Martinez Pastor. Congratulations.
All right. So who goes winning big here tonight? We probably should have put a contingency in place of how much time can pass. But we'll figure that out. So Julian, if you're watching, or Octavio or Bruno, let Julian know. And we will get that all squared away. 29 big ones coming your way. Appreciate everybody coming out here tonight. How do we wrap this up? Not only the race, but the season. I mean, this is a great season. Had a lot of crazy moments, but tonight especially. Holy cow! How do you put a stamp on this?
Yeah, so somebody that I want to mention that kind of got lost in the shuffle here as we were doing, race, podium, and different things, was James Watson, who we did not bring in. Congratulations to James Watson, who finished third in the points, I believe, as he only finished one position in front of Gavin Sanders, it looks like. So congratulations to James Watson as well, who had a chance to win the championship here tonight. The chips just didn't fall his way. He's going to end up getting the podium spot for the season, though.
Anything else you want to say to try and sum up an entire season here?
Well, we certainly have some daredevils. I'll say that. We weren't sure we were going to be able to top the first season. The first season was really something special, but we have had quite the season 2. I'm going to say it now. I don't know how we can get any crazier and wilder than we have this season in season 3, but who knows what's going to happen because it might just happen. It's going to be wild, but unfortunately, we won't be back for a little bit.
Yep, that is all for RIL coverage here in 2022 on Turn 200. It started with the Daredevils. It's ended with the Daredevils. Thank you again to Sunset Arctic Games, to Daredevil Brewing Company, to the TNT Shock Series, and to CJaz Endeavors for supporting RIL and for supporting Turn 200. The Revolution Indy League has given us our start. It's given us our footing. So eternally grateful and honored that they invited us on board and have invited us to return for Season 3 of the RIL Daredevil Series in the fall of 2023. We thank everybody who has come out to watch Turn 200's Daredevil coverage at any point in 2022, whether it's Season 1 or Season 2. And we want to wish everybody who celebrates it a happy Thanksgiving and a happy holidays. In the meantime, The next time we will have RIL coverage here on Turn 200 will be in the spring, where we will open the doors back up to the Thunderdome once again. So that's the next time we'll be back with Revolution Indy League coverage. We'll be back with the Venom Truck Series next Tuesday night with the Turkey Trot 140 from Indianapolis Raceway Park. For the greatest stream producer of all time, that is the one and only, the incomparable Mr. Matt Williamson. I have been Tommy Cook. Until we meet again on Turn 200, we say so long to Season 2 of the RIL Daredevil Series as Octavio Rondoletto takes the milk bath and the championship, standing tall as the second ever champion Daredevil.